Very potentially. Phew. It was most certainly dramatic exit for sure. Not just of scene, of session. Sure. Is it part one or part two? Okay. That makes sense. You want to be able to have an opportunity to complete your goal. All right, so starting off this session, Kithian attempts to lift a boulder. What was that, sorry? You're referring to, yeah, the. Hmm. Yeah. Before that, there were thugs. He's referring to the guys that stuck their necks out for the merchant when you guys were harassing him upon returning. Yeah, yeah. 'Tis a maybe. Well, real quick, before we do dive in and I start you where you're starting, uh, let me get that 2d10 roll for the goal replacement. And anybody else, real quick, if you need to, now is your chance. Then we'll dive in. All right, Groovy. Oh, you damaged a bunch of people, sir. You hit a dude with another dude. Hmm. No, Jason the Ruthless. It did not. Uh-oh, there's some feedback. Well, there was a drunk guy at the docks. Well, let us get you to a starting point and let the ripples flow out from there. Everyone definitely quite involved. Get inspiration, of course, for recap stuff. Where you will be starting your respective sleeping pods at your bastion, including you. Yes, sir. We'll get there. But this is just where everybody's starting. Did I move? I did, yeah. So everybody should have token control. Indeed, you are at the courtyard where your hammock resides. You're next to your hammock. To the left of your hammock is a chest for your belongings, and all around you is the courtyard. They are. They're in their bedrooms. They are in their bedrooms. Oh, you shouldn't see him in his courtyard. Hmm. Yeah, I had Kithian set to edited and controlled by everybody instead of just himself. Right? Derp to derp. That's my bad. So let me double check everybody just to make sure. Yeah, Armin's good. Okay. Everyone's good. Yeah, that's absolutely a thing. Yeah, the games too. I mean, Armin is specifically an athlete. Like, can he compete in the games as a criminal? Will he be executed or exiled or branded? Who knows? But yes, everybody will start in their rooms. Avra has a sign on her door that says "Do not disturb," so she'll be sleeping while you guys are first to wake up. You should be able to see window and door, both Ari and Win and Armin. Um, it's not a secret door. It's not locked, so you should be able to open it. Can you control the door? You see. Hooray! Ari and Win's doors work. Awesome. Shoo. Hooray! Just want to make sure that that's working. So you guys are in what is essentially a repurposed mansion that was able to be acquired to serve as the guild hall for the Night Wardens. Uh, Eutychios and Thales went out of their way to ensure essentially a bond so that Armin wouldn't be incarcerated. He's expected to show a trial, but they pulled strings and put money out. Yep. There are restrictions, of course. You're not allowed to leave the city. You're supposed to behave. to your utmost because anything is going to be extra. Like if you committed a minor crime, it would be upgraded because you're already awaiting major crime. So it'll just compound. So behave is essentially the normal order of things. But you have a couple days to organize essentially what will be your defense. But both Eutychios and Thales had planned to meet you guys in the morning to discuss that. And you're pretty sure that it was a kind of a mystical tone you remember, akin to a visitor's chime ringing out. And that is what had originally woke you. Again, almost awkwardly, the visitor's chime rings again. The parlor is where the front door is, and you will have to go through the garden and then through the hallway of the bedrooms, and then there's another hallway that leads to the courtyard. Or if you want to go the other way, you'd have to go through the other door to your left, which leads to the foundry. Oh no, that's cut off. You'd have to go through the temple, which is in the middle, and then hop down. Yes, if you take a left right there, that hallway will lead out into the parlor. Armin's room is to the south. Avra's you passed, but I can open it for the sake of she's there. You don't have much going on, just like a welcome desk, and I'll have to get images tilted at 3D so you get better shot of stuff. There should not be a wall there. Oh, that's stupid. There's a wall there. It's because there's a curtain that hangs in the archways, but it's not a full door. All right, go ahead. You should be better now. They must have squeezed through somehow. Thales, your buddy, and Eutychios, your sponsors, your buddies now. They're waiting. You can tell they look a little bit impatient. Looks like they've lost a little bit of sleep. They're happy to see you this morning. Say, yes, well, many times life gives us forks in the road. Depends on how we deal with them. I don't think this will be unsurmountable as long as we play fair. Speak to the good heart of your friend. There are a couple things that we have actually prepared for you for your consideration. Of course, you'll have your own ambitions as far as investigating, but hopefully this will lead you along the right way. Item number one, the set of scrolls that will detail potential hires for your bastion, and you can scroll through those. Everybody has a wage and a skill level. You guys can mix and match that at your leisure. The other one is a list of contacts and how much it would cost for them to contribute to your defense. Much information as could be gathered about them. That is in another handout, both in the folder labeled Bastion. You guys haven't named your hideout yet, but you're welcome to, and I will change the name of the character sheet. If you open the character sheet, you can see the rooms, the orders that you can give for each special place, etc., etc. And you guys can rename. I was joking around with a bunch of stuff when I named stuff sometimes. Yeah. So, with, of course, main focus, the orators for defense, being able to hire somebody, stand in for you, plead your case. Essentially, a council of jurors. There'll be a prosecution representing the family because the extreme youth of survivors, the family doesn't really have a means to procure subsidized prosecution, but such has been levied. Um, as far as you guys are all outsiders, so you'd be less familiar with, I suppose, the way things would go. Um, Essentially, there's council of jurors, and they hear testimony from the defense. Each side is able to call witnesses and question them. The accused can speak for themselves should they desire, but they're open to cross examination, of course. There'll be opening statements, then they'll bring forth all of their pleading, however they want to present. Well, Eutychios and the Thales have put forward more in the way of favors than actual coins exchanged, but you do kind of have a running debt with patrons if you guys offer to settle up in some way or etc. Like, there's kind of an unspoken thing that they've sponsored you and acquired you this sweet place and stuff. They've never leaned on it. They've never been like, "Ha, now you owe us, do our bidding." Never any of that kind of sentiment. Potentially, but you'd want to keep track of your legal defense loans, as it were, and pay it back. You guys are welcome to start your operating costs in the negative if you like. Don't worry about that is all I'm saying. If you're wanting to go for the first guy on there, probably. That doesn't sound bad. Well, Eutychios will also offer that because of the structure of arguments and the back and forth and such, playing on emotions is just as effective as pointing out, a murder weapon or something. Your opponent might be good at playing to the crowd. So, emotional testimonies are very effective. They can be presented. It's not really like that. Both sides gather their cases kind of independently, and hopefully we'll be able to respond in kind. Oftentimes there's an overlap because some things are obvious, others, as depending on how much they dig or how much they're able to present. Well, I mean, ultimately, it's up to the defense to choose. So Armin has to make the final decision. But you guys are welcome to present. Um, these are just potential people that are known to Eutychios and Theos, but you'll have to approach them yourselves and work that out. You haven't necessarily seen people being like, people will have pride in their families and where they're from, but there's not like a lot of segregation necessarily. If you're concerned about anything like that, like you won't be racially discriminated against in your trial, nor would it be favor. Okay. Everyone cares about the money. It's a matter of interpretation, because by your claim, he was corrupt and threatening, so you're allowed, you know, like your involvement in a smuggling ring was documented in ceasing it. It's just that his was not able to be directly proven. Like he got out of it in his way. But you're still on record for being a good guy in some places. Oh yeah, where is? I should grab that for you, because that would, I assume, at least until you let me know what to do with. I'm just gonna put it so I don't forget about it in your. As far as Thales knows, they handled it at the docks. He's not aware of it being brought to a formal trial. As far as he knows, it was handled directly down there. Si, senor. Um, Slightly. Are you worried for your life? Or is it for... There isn't really such available necessarily provided by law, but you could have someone sign testimony to your deeds. Certainly, Eutychios and myself could do so. The signed word of your companions. They are not on trial, so they are fair as witnesses. And being outsiders, don't hold any favor or reason to deceive necessarily. Nothing to gain or lose if there were to be any politics involved. Indeed, it is not a fortuitous timing that this should transpire. But if you can come out of it, all the stronger these other investments will be. I wouldn't go that far. I certainly wouldn't claim that a trial, but do as you must. Meow. I'm kidding, it's not alive. Sorry. Sweetly. That was who you wanted to go see? Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted. Oh yeah, right. So I wanted you guys to pick out a place that was on the border because. So let's go here first. Yes, indeed. So somewhere on the border of, right? It ends beautiful. And so somewhere that would be appropriate along the edge where the wall could perhaps could be dipped down. That's a pretty good place. That's cool. You have a great view of ships entering and leaving the harbor, like prime location. Free advertising. Yeah, cool. What do you want to name your place? That is the name of your group. You're the Night Wardens, I believe. That's what I put on the bastion. But what is the name of the Night Wardens uh, secret lair or what have you? If you want to. That's cool. So would you have watch be a separate word or have it be like this, as is on the... You might have to refresh because I changed the text, number 9, as opposed to having it space watch. Oh, that's what I wanted to do there. Oh, that was the gold. That never is. Si, senor. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Super duper. Very interesting. Ah, yes. Well, being is that, let's see. You guys could hit up the docks on the way to the Minotaurs. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, given that, then, should the party be wished to be off, don't forget too that you do have an obligation to go speak with uh, anyone whom you might want to have represent you. So if you wanted to go find and talk to that dude individual or any of those individuals. Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. He himself has a home in the Temple District outskirts, between residential, yeah, between 3 and 2, the corner up there. It's a beautiful morning down at the docks. Sun is high. Birds are singing. They fly away when they smell the manticore. As people don't run, but they definitely give you guys a berth as you're making your way about. So can I get an investigation check from everybody tromping through, stomping about the docks? It's on there, 1d4. I rolled one. Uh, oh, gotcha. You remember that there's kind of a little cubbyhole over here that he had crawled out of previously. You don't see anything over there. You smell alcohol in general, but you can also smell the docks. Like it's kind of low tide, so you kind of got that sea, salty, fishy smell going on for you. Oh, it's like hole in the wall. Like it's just like where he had previously snuggled into being a homeless drunk guy. Yeah, a little nook, if you will. He's a homeless guy. Not at this time. Essentially, there was somebody trying to be stealthy. You would pick onto that. You are welcome to try it, of course. Roar. All right, went on a boat over there. So the wolf itself has skills on there. Investigation isn't good. Roll just perception with Aryan Wolf, and then have well, you have advantage on that as well with the perception. That has to do specifically with your checks that rely on hearing or smell. So in wolf form, you're drawn over to the nook where Kithian is, like doo doo doo. But then you smell there's like a trail that leads to the southern building over here. Oh shit. You can now also hear slight snoring inside that building. Oh, please. All right, so your approach here to the door is closed. You can like kick it in or try to sneak in or anything, but that is where Aryan Wolf is identified. Potential target. You haven't tested it yet. There's just a front door there. I don't know if you wanted to try to be sneaky or try to just bust in there. I was curious as to your approach. Give me a perception check after knocking. Oh, the snoring gets louder. You hear shuffling and a pause, and the snoring resume. You get a similar response. There's a pause a little bit, and then the snoring returns. All right. Well, you find that it's not locked and on the ground, cuddling with a bottle, is the drunk that you are familiar with. Damianos. Tanda appears shocked and looks up. What do you want? He's holding his hand out in front of himself in the light. No, are you? And he hiccups. You can tell he is still drunk. I don't know you, Gold. No, no, don't remember nothing. Go for it. Both of you may do so. Armin, are you staying away from their little investigation here? Okay, just leave it unattended. Says I don't think so. I don't remember. And he kind of is looking suspiciously at your gold piece. Kithian, it looks to you like he definitely recognized you guys when he woke up and started scooting back a little bit. And he keeps looking past you as well. You guys are blocking up. He can't see past you, but he's trying to, like, oh shit, kind of looking around suspiciously around himself. He's looking at it. He's like, how'd you get my wine? You realize he's holding the same bottle as you, as that nice stuff that you got from the stand. He thinks that you have his bottle, but he has his bottle in his hand. They just happen to be identical. Um, so it sounds like you're not trying to be intimidating, but roll that instead if you are. But can you roll persuasion? He realizes he can't scoot back any further because he's against the wall now. Says, "Well, what are you gonna give me? They gave me this house and this bottle. I didn't see nothing." And he's now clutching the bottle, looking around and back at you, defensively. Go for it. So it's one of the things I'm not supposed to remember about. What do you mean pay? Pay for what? I don't know. They're pretty rich, pretty powerful, kind of protection. He looks outside through the doorway past you. You see his eyes widen. He shuffles back. It's your place. Better than this. I'll go with you. I'll remember. Still looks a little bit fearful. He's starting to stand and join you by the door. Yes, Armin? Of course. Yeah, definitely. Sliver of light shines through. Make eye contact. He looks over. You see him looking at the manicore on the court, and then his head slowly turns to you. You guys lock eyes. Very quickly, the head disappears. Looks a bit shocked more than anything, and his head zips back before you get a wave in return. But when he re-enters, you can tell he's trying to weigh his options, trying to keep his balance as he's standing up. Then he kind of gives a nod, looks up at both of you. And he starts to leave. And then he comes back and says, I still get that, right? And he points at the other bottle. I'll take it. And he grabs it with his other hand and stumbles out the door. And he looks over again toward Armin and Manticore. Decides to give them a little bit of berth, but is waiting. He realizes that he doesn't know where he's going, so he's just kind of dirting in a circle for a moment. If you say so. Dun, 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 dun. He's going to be stumbling his way back. Since you're cutting kind of across the waterfront and across harbor over there, it's not a long walk. The sun's coming up. He's trying to kind of avoid that at first and kind of shorten his answers until he's trying to keep his distance a little bit. Looks a little bit, leery in case you guys are leading him into a trap, but did in fact bribe him with more wine. So that is in your favor. Not really. So is the Craftsman Row, wherein lies Hephaestus's forge. Armin, of course, familiar with these minotaurs that work here, them being Xathor and Baragon. Pixar. Let me go for it. Yep, they're both hard at work. The one further in the back. You get kind of a moment of acknowledgement, but nothing else as they go back to work. Paragon steps up and steps slowly forward. You say a manticore. Well, this I have to see. If it is real, well, I'll help you carry it inside. Mm-hmm. He goes to walk past you, and then you'll see him staring wide-eyed at the card. No joke. I've heard rumors, but hmm. Another one? Well, it would make a fine one. Hole looks like easy enough up to patch. What did you have in mind? Hmm. Is large enough, yes. as far as what can be harvested from, like in total. So you are pretty good in with as far as his perspective, his profession. There you go. That's why he lets you know. It's more for the labor as far as if you wanted to work in exactly that order. Um, the cloak, of course, is part of it. I would say he'll let you roll a d4 and multiply by 10. It is pure fate as far as how much of a deal he gives you. Can I get an insight from you? They're trying to read the attitude of the one who is offering you the deal because they are a little bit dry. They're not super encouraging. They're not being super mean. They're a little bit monotone. You can't really figure out their level of enthusiasm. No, just taking it all in. Uh, Neither of us are trained in the art of preserving. You'd probably have to find somebody down at the market to, if you wanted to preserve those. I mean, I could put everything in a bucket for you. He nods. If that'll do. He nods. Glad that he thought of a solution. So the 40 gold due on delivery. They need a couple days. How many? If you roll the D4 for the claws and the spikes, should roll actually 2d4 on the claws. It does beg the question how specifically you want your cloak to look and be fashioned and what is left over. Because you can preserve the wings for Aryan Wind if you like. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think anybody uses a crossbow. Hey, we have everybody brings us what we need. Best we can do is have you leave it and then, you know, see if anybody's interested and sell it for you. Just a tiny handler's fee, of course, but then we shall speak in a few days. All the work is done. Alrighty then. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Back at said house. Place is nice. I've never had a room as nice as this. Um, Not really, unless you let him sleep in the garden or the hall or in the courtyard with Kithian. So if you look at the Bastion positions to hire, if you want to like try to see if he has a gift or try to give him a job within there, like have him start off as a lowly janitor, work his way up, can fill one of those roles. That's on the list, yeah. Those are specific to the Bastion. If you guys want to get into it, like I don't know what you anticipate your monthly salary to be, but you can start filling those in. Yeah, he would definitely be at the 5 gold per month level. It is. Yeah. No, I was just double checking. I don't have an objection if you would essentially want to encourage him to stay undercover, like be a double agent, keep his eye on shady things, and report back to you guys. Eyes and ears on the docks. I assume that you guys would want to encourage his sobriety because if you don't, he won't be useful to you. That's free insight. Now, by this guy, you mean Demianos himself, right? Okay. So, can I have you on that notion roll an insight check for me? Ooh wee, 320 there, nice. So he right now is probably too intoxicated to understand anything or propose or be held to anything. You might have to actually sober him up to make him partially useful. Bread and water. That is hard to tell. He does look kind of dirty, like he could definitely use a shower. He does look a little bit, I don't want to say emaciated, but he is pretty thin and ragged. Like you can assume he would enjoy a meal. You do have a fully stocked kitchen, however, no one works there yet. So if anybody in the party has like a way of wanting to be the cook, you do something simple for him. Um, as far as what you would recognize, you would know there to be some local fruits and vegetables that wouldn't have to be cooked. There would also be ingredients for cooking. It looks freshly stocked, like ready for somebody to move in and start operations. Cozy cafe-esque, yeah. Nice. He will not realize even that you are trying to make him sober, but he will absolutely appreciate the gesture. That goes a long way. Gods are always watching. Never forget that. Yeah, because you guys have only been respectful to him. Haven't threatened him at all. There are not. That's not a difficult thing to acquire at market. There's not necessarily like a bonus shoe stash, unfortunately. He'll definitely be overwhelmed by the generosity offered continuously. Where specifically do you want him to sleep currently? It's specially reinforced for Centaurus. Because I think I like it. I think I need to sleep on it. He sits down, leans against the gate. Hmm. At first, he doesn't realize you're trying to hand him to him, and he reaches out slowly. Then he kind of yanks at him, not as ferociously as Gollum. He lashes out, but starts eating them pretty quick. Gives you a nod and thanks, but is a little bit wordless. He declines and holds up one of his bottles. As long as it keeps my belly warm somehow. Can't do it by itself. Gold's only good for buying, but so is trading. I don't want to be working out on the boats in the sun all day. That's all they said I could do. This ain't a boat. Um, you think that uh, he's only been presented boat work as a potential lifestyle to uptake, and he's kind of implying that he's already failed at that. I need to clean all the rooms. He's kind of looking around. You see him look at the different doors, trying to mentally think of a layout. Oh, that's good because I'm not very clean either. He kind of looks down sadly at himself. He looks like he has a moment of clarity. He's like, oh, but then all I have to do is remember stuff about the gang and your friends out there. I uh, I don't know how much they believe me. Depends on how much of this I've had. And he holds up one of his bottles. But I pretty sure I seen him watching them unload boats, all quiet like. Then he takes a drink, looks at you, as if he was providing you with profound insight and clues. Well, they wanted me to be quiet about it, but I knew that he worked at night, let some people through he shouldn't have. They used to bully me about it, but they promised me a house too. This one's better. Hmm. I can't promise anything, but I could sure try. I just, it's been a lot of years. Clumpity clomp, clumpity clomp, clumpity clomp. I remember a couple of the ones, saw the bodies, the message on the wall. Hmm. Armin, in the blood of your victims, wrote on the wall. Hmm. Well, you guys already busted up the ones I knew about. Not that are getting into it anymore. There was always eventually somebody, but it's been quiet since you guys came in and cleaned up that one. Oh, I don't know. They was strong and big. There was a person like you. He points over at Kylithian. Sorry, Kithian. No. Had a shaved head, a hood, and it was dark. And they shook me up, said I never seen anything about Cletos. Almost. But then they promised me the wine and the house. This house is better, though. That was. He starts counting on his fingers. That many ago. Um, Free insight. Given that he has booze left, it couldn't have been that long ago because he still has booze left from what was given to him. Oh, I mean, I've seen the guards sometimes, usually only at night. Had a regular shift. Well, I mean, some days you wouldn't see him, and then some days that you would. I couldn't keep track of the schedule. He nods. He was strong, like your Minotaur friend. Only not as furry. Curse. He's kind of looking sadly at the bottle. You guys are talking about important stuff, and he's sad that he's kind of wasted and not all there, trying to keep grasp of everything. Oh no, he has a couple. He's just reflecting, it seems. Not slowly. Gives a little bit of a half-hearted wave and a smile. You can read a little bit of overwhelmedness on his face, bit of skepticism. You guys have a pretty sweet bathroom. All right, well, I am going to move him over into the tub area, and then you guys will have to wait as your DM creates a less drunk token for him, as you guys are maybe going to clean him up. We'll see how much fork of the road he takes. um, well, Eutychios and Thales gave a list of potential hirings. And get your reputation up, right? Out to be seen for adventure. Well, Armin has proposed a bio break in the chat. They have said BRB. Let's BRB real quick. Come back 5 to 10. Meet back. Let that all settle. Come together. Alrighty then. BRB then. Check check. Back for those who can hear. And so it was that Aryanwin was making flyers for. This is purely the sake of advertising the guild and its services. Ah, dude, if you guys make action figures of yourselves, that'd be pretty great. I'll fully endorse that. You guys have a smithy. Well, you do have the library and the temple and the smithy. Sure does, but you guys haven't been in there yet. It is the door to the left of the globe, bottom left from your parlor, left side. You just went down the hall the wrong way. That's the right side. Bottom left of the room that you were in. Indeed. So, if we go down here, let me go through the hall. So you have like a room over there. Library is off of, this is like the little meeting parlor area. And then in here is the library. And then here's the temple to Nalia, because that's most everybody. And then there's another door, another door. So if you go to the courtyard from here, is where you access the smithy. Smithy things in it. It does smithy things. Let's see. The only room we haven't seen is the bathroom, which is, so if you go through the garden, you have your room here pretty much, whether or not you want to use the bed and stuff, places for alchemy ingredients and stuff. um, but there's a bathroom. It is bare bones right now, so it's not a full workshop. It's more of a storage, but you have the garden right there too that gives you weird and exotic things. Absolutely. But yes, that is the quick tour. The bottom square is the kitchen off the other side. Well, photography is a technology that. Oh, cartographer. I was like, I find somebody who paints real good for you. Yes, of course. I misheard you. I apologize. Cartographer. Speaking of, there's a globe in your parlor. Um, Pretty wide spaced for as far as the sake of like being on foot, not having cars and stuff. It's pretty sizable. Yeah, you guys are Data Harbor. Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question. Can you please repeat? Okay, so just south of the mountains, pretty much, all the way around. Right. To have formally printed up just one copy, like a parchment of a map like that. Oh, I see what you mean. Regional maps. Indeed. Welcome back, sir. Oh yeah, no, you're totally cool. Well, if so, Armin was waiting out. He had just spoken with the Minotaurs, has procured some work done on the carcass, and then you had said that you were waiting for them to come by. Yes, they'll. I mean, probably get to that first. Like they'll probably have that actually tomorrow morning. You can pick that up because then they'll get to finer work on the other. But yeah, just don't be spray painting on any walls. Romans go home. I know. I'm kidding. Mhm. Right. Yeah. And Armin is making himself very visible, he said, so you would catch sight of him down the road pretty quick. A nat one would mean that you would totally miss him. Absolutely. Satessa. You want to click on the arrow. Yeah, usually the arrow. But yeah, it's super annoying when like I always do it on the measure tool. Yeah. All right, so mission one. As you cross the mountains, dot dot dot. So it is Kithian and Armin who are walking north from the Craftsman's Row to the supposed home of Echolos, Silvertongue, Iquitos, sorry. I will butcher everything. I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure, if you ask uh, an expert. And have, all right, fair. Let that roll downhill. Fair. Well, as you are coming up, you were told, of course, to look for a man who drapes and is a favorite color of green. You actually see who you believe to be the man, as described. He's older, wearing a green sash, pretty wealthy part of town. Man you see is stretching his arms, standing out, watching the sun creep across the sky. So these houses are further apart and have a lot more stairs to get to a main platform where people would stand. They're a lot more elaborate and multi-storied and such. Your mansion is sweet, but it's still like only one story, etc. Yeah, but of course not. But yeah, so he will see both of you coming up toward him prior to your shadow being able to reach him. But if you do wave in greeting, he does notice you. He will give kind of a slow wave back and continue stretching, although watching you approach instead of staring off into the nothing. Yeah. A kid, a human, and a minotaur walk up the stairs. When you approach, he looks at Armin, down at Kithian. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice of you. I am, indeed. It's a likely reason for being here. Yes, well, should I agree to take the case, of course, compensation is encouraged. You say you are not guilty of taking the man's life, or are guilty, but it's circumstantial. Well, if you're hiring me to convince a jury to absolve your murder, less concerned about what goes on the docks now as much as I am what went on the docks before. Have you a lot more than this friend of yours speak on your behalf? Where's your place here in Data Harbor? You are locals, outsiders, dresses a bit off. You've go back a little bit. You've saved people in distress, heroic deeds. That's where we want to build from, yes. Yes. Don't suppose you might have taken it from the rich, hmm? Hmm, well, says, well, it is interesting. I imagine defense will have just as many of those being able to speak against you. You happen to know who is orating the prosecution? Hmm. Can send letters. Magic pigeon. As well, this is an interesting case. Could be challenge. Admit it's been a while since my last victory. More days in between cases. Hmm. There are indeed a couple of angles to go with. Oh, just good to know who you're up against. Know what strings they're going to ply so you may pluck at other ones. Or pluck those better. I don't pay much attention as to what goes on in the docks. If it doesn't reach the forum, then, well, for me, not as important. Not in the day to day. You say a low rent thing? Well, I do believe I'd better get some more detailed notes. You have time to go over some details of your case and your deeds? And he looks at both of you, not just Armin. Points at Kithian as well. And does Arlen have a plan after procuring maps and flyers for the guild? Was she going to be meeting up? Was she going to be retiring back to the Nick's Watch? Everyone does know the general plan and location because that was information you guys were privy to this morning when you were together. Okay. So the prints themselves will not be ready till overnight. They have to run that, but you can expect about 10 gold for a couple good stacks parchment. And then for maps, depends on the quality. There are some that will be further embellished that are 50 each. There are some that are pretty simple and have borders and geography enough to be useful. Get down closer to 15 or 20. Yeah, indeed. So it won't take long to acquire that information, and such can be provided at cost when you are ready to make said order. They will accept payment on exchange of goods. So, if such is your intent, you would be able to meet up with the party, conversing with one. Again, I don't want to get his name wrong. Theros. Is this one with you? Taquitos. Is this one able to testify? In the forum, all three of you, you've got accounts, things that transpired, good words on behalf of your case. Indeed. And of course, if I can start with getting information from the source, well, that is in my benefit. We're afraid things may work quickly, especially if they're motivated parties. Mm. Well, yes, I would say that we would want to start with those who are familiar with you here in town. They've got friends, and they've got friends. Word of mouth is going to help. Just in general, we can get Armin's name out there as a hero, perceived wrongly. Have people know of his good deeds when they do the draw for the citizens to serve on the jury. We stand a better chance. I'm sorry? Gee, yeah. Alas, that is out of my hands. I can simply be hired to defend you on the day which you have been scheduled for. That's in 2 days or 2 weeks. There's gold in my hand. I'll begin. Concerns are valid. I would first take your testimonies, and then from there, figure out what I'll need next. If I can send you out on a couple errands, interviews, acquire other witnesses and the like, that can allow me to focus on other things. I can get more done with less time. Says, oh, yes, well, that's a start. He snaps his fingers, and three kids come running out of the side. He says, all right, children, you'll begin taking notes. Now, note the questions that I ask, not just the answers. Pay attention well. He nods. He does not count, he just acknowledges the fat sack of gold coins. Waves his hand. Yes, yes, I'm quite fascinated enough. Very good. He looks up, grasps her quickly. Looks like he pauses a moment, holds you in the arm embrace. See him kind of take a measure of you. Oh no, I don't mean like he's doing like a bro challenge, like he's more peering into your soul than as well. Very good then. We'll get started right away. I'll be taking down everyone's view on things. I want you to go back as far as you can. Dressing like outsiders, I reckon you will have arrived in town at some point. I suggest you start there. And I will be interviewing. Excellent. That'll help. I will be interviewing you, all three of you, at the same time. Each one of the children here will be recording responses. Don't mind if your friends are over talking. I can make it out. Just answer when asked. Understood? He gestures for each of you to sit in front of each of one of the children. He shrugs. He doesn't care where he sits when answering questions. Oh, they all look pretty comfortable. Yeah, and all three of them look like eager students. They're paying rapt attention to Akitos, paying a lot of respect. Yeah, roughly there. And he begins to pace, begins to grill everyone about who you are and who you were before you came into town and why you came into town and what you've done since and who you've met and et cetera, et cetera. So pushed on, right? Armin is very forthcoming and detail oriented. So, of course, when Ari and Wynn is met on the island, when Kithian is met on the docks, like those stories can kind of intertwine and converge. Same with the absent but is present for this conversation, Avra, because reasons. And so that will open it up to the investigation, well, the trial and sort of investigation. You guys look for ways to sway favor. Agreed. He will be essentially walking behind the three children as they scribe down each of your answers respectively. The one that you're facing writes down the questions and answers that you go through personally. All three of you are asked questions as he's pacing back and forth simultaneously, and he's expecting everyone to just keep up and ignore the other ones being questioned while he directs a three-way questioning. He's essentially showing off for his students, you'll realize. Whether you're not obligated to answer because you're not under trial, he does ask you questions about your life from before that. Whether or not you want to answer is up to you, but he does tread and inquire. Well, along with trying to keep the whole thing going, of course. Of course, Kithian is the newest one to join the group, so his contributions would come in a little bit later in the conversation. Because they don't try to drill Arwenwen and Kithian and Avra about as deep about their life details as they do Armin. Because again, you guys aren't on trial. But since you are all eyewitnesses to a bunch of different things going down. Really? What happened to this woman? Well, it is a lovely rendition. Certainly the sort of thing we're looking for. More of that is what we need. If you can, for example, convince this priest or priestess whom you've dropped the child off to, they might be invited to testify on your behalf. These are the sort of details that I'm looking for. So he just goes around saving lives. Some kind of hero from legend, child of the gods or something. Well, that's the picture we want to paint anyway, isn't it? You certainly won't if you don't try, will you? And some days you might get angry, squish a guard's head in an alleyway. You can bet he'll be testifying against you. Be prepared for that. Yes, well, I like that line. Make sure you underline that. He snaps at the kids. What was that? Sorry? I thought I heard Arian win. Wee. This one, you said something about helping someone who was a drunk improve their life. You're sure they can be sober to testify? Contribute somehow? Very well. Sounds like a thug to me. Oh, I don't think that he was. I mean, I never had that in mind. You can't tell. That's funny. Yes. as well as consider who might be available to speak well of you on your behalf. Oh yeah, Theos and Eutychios have already flat out stated that they were going to. Yeah. Yes. Well, essentially, the way that you tamper with any jury would be to tamper with public opinion, since they draw out the names to see who will serve upon the jury just before the trial begins. That helps save from some corruption, but of course, not all. Manages to slip through the cracks just a little once in a while, unfortunately. You have to count on that, build around it just in case. I know not of these things. Yeah. Well, you guys will have a list, which, I mean, I could probably summarize the list by saying there's a folder called Friends and Allies, and it features like a bunch of people that you've met before and interacted with, and I don't know. Hmm. They didn't. Mm, yep, yep. Add them up. Cha-ching, cha-ching. If you can line them up. I was going with the centaur part too. Mhm. Yeah, it's mostly merchants and nobles that run things. The murder trial itself is there's no judge, there's just the jury, and then both sides just kind of plead, play to emotions, make presentation. Yeah. Oh, so it'd be the two city states. If we go back to the main map here, besides the gods, of course. So the two main city states are Akros and Miletus. Satessa is a big deal place. I guess yeah, well, that depends on which city state you're talking about, or like which, there's not an emperor of all. There are the gods who look and see everything, some would say. Yeah, yes, some kind of governing force, yeah. Some point, I think maybe because I remember from the card set, I would have to go back and look. I don't want to give bad information, but yeah, hmm, yeah. No, he was from a smaller one that is not even on the map. Like, I don't think that I made him from a major city. Like on purpose. They were supposed to be, yeah, they were pulling shady tactics because they were smaller and trying to get more attention than Data Harbor. But yeah, well, you will have many paths before you. You'll be welcome to speak to a bunch of people, see if you can gather them to your side, see how many points you can win, because the defense won't be holding back. Currently, I believe so. Yeah, which you won't because, of course, you get along with everybody behaving, right? So, okay, so like time will tell. Ask me that question again right after I say something like, "Oh, blah blah blah." It looks like he's sober and doing well. Like if you happen to do coerce him on that way, ask me again, because then I'll have to reflect and be like, he has come a long way since the last time we checked. Absolutely. Oh yeah. So yeah, he is getting your testimony in order to find more things to get testimony for from about. So there will be, and you guys have already put down a list like Xenophon is a perfect example, the one that Armin just posted up. Like people who you've interacted with, who have seen you do heroic things, be heroic, save lives, all good things. Yes, that is where we're at for sure. Cool, cool. Absolutely. Cheers, gentlemen. All right.